Hello. So in this video, we're going to talk about writing a complaint message. So this is an element of professional writing or business writing that you want to be familiar with because there's things that will work better and things that will not work as well. So you want to be familiar with the strategies that are going to increase your likelihood of getting what you want out of a complaint. So this is particularly in terms of complaints about things like faulty products, like bad service, broken parts, things like this. So the overarching thing that you want to make sure that you're doing throughout the complaint process is approaching everything calmly and rationally. And that can be especially difficult if you're getting sort of bounced from person to person and no one is willing to take responsibility or to actually deal with the complaint that you're making, etc., etc. You have to try and keep your composure, try and keep your cool as much as you can, because if you get upset and the more upset you get, the more frustrated you get, the less likely people are to be willing to actually deal with your complaint at any point. So that's the first thing. That's the overarching thing. The next thing that you want to think about as you're sort of in the setting up to make my complaint phase is you want to think about who can actually resolve this issue for you. So often that's going to involve doing a little bit of internet research, looking into the company that you're complaining to. Try and find the contact information for their customer service department or their complaints department, consumer affairs, whatever branch or individual would be responsible for handling these types of complaints. That's the first person or office or whatever it is that you want to contact, because they're most likely to be able to help you. And actually, it's not a bad idea to put in messages like this. If you aren't able to assist me with this, can you let me know who would be able to help? That's not a bad thing to put. So then once you get to the actual message itself, there's a set of steps that you ideally want to go through to make your complaint as legitimate, clear, and credible as possible. So the first stage that you want to do is to very clearly lay out what the problem is. Specifically, starting with a description of the product or the service itself. So if this is a part for, say, a vacuum cleaner that broke, or something like this. If this was bad service at a restaurant, if you ordered a digital movie through Amazon Prime or something like this, and you weren't able to actually watch it. So identify specifically what it is. Give us an order number, give us an invoice number, not us, give the person you're complaining to. Give the reader an invoice number, a product number, an order number, a description of the actual thing, whatever details you can give that person to make sure that they know as precisely as possible what you're talking about. The second phase of this is then to describe what's actually gone wrong. So as clearly and specifically as you can, what broke, what service problems were there, what weren't you able to access, whatever it is. You want to give them a clear and specific description of the problem that you're facing. it's probably not a great idea to speculate about why this problem has occurred, though sometimes, especially if you have expertise in this area, that's not inherently a terrible thing. So if, for instance, you're an auto mechanic and you've received from a manufacturer a part that doesn't fit properly in the car that you're repairing, you can give those sorts of details as part of the problem statement. But you wouldn't want to, for instance, guess that they might have changed their manufacturing techniques, or that they're making the parts on a new machine or something like this. You don't really want to speculate about why the problem exists beyond what you can reasonably be sure of. So that's the key sort of thing to start this message with. You want to be as specific as possible about the part or the service or whatever it is that's not working, and how it's not working, or how it's what exactly the problem is. The next thing that you want to do is establish a clear set of expectations for what you want in order to resolve this issue. So, do you want a refund? Do you want a replacement part? Do you want a formal apology? What is it that you want the reader to do to resolve this situation? Because that's what they have to think about. That's what your reader in the complaints department or consumer affairs, customer service, whatever it is, that's what they have to consider, is what do you want done and what can they actually do? So the more clear and specific you can be about what you expect from them or want from them, the better. That's going to make their lives easier. And if their lives are easier in terms of actually resolving the problem, that's more likely to lead to a satisfactory outcome for you. So everybody benefits. The other thing that you probably may want to do, this is in some cases going to be more appropriate than in others, if you can attach documentation with your message, whether that's a bill or an invoice for the product or service, whether that's pictures of a broken piece or something like this. Documentation that shows that there is legitimacy to your complaint. So, for instance, let's say I've had this situation happen to me. I ordered a pair of shoes off of eBay, and the shoes that were sent to me were not the shoes that I ordered. They were the same brand, the same size, but they were a completely different type of shoe. Take a picture of those shoes, and in the complaint where you say, I'd like a refund, or I'd like to exchange these for the shoes I actually ordered, or whatever it is, you include that picture so that you have that evidence there that you have not gotten the product that you ordered, you got something else. Again, any sort of evidence that's appropriate for this, invoices, bills, pictures, receipts, contracts, any of that sort of stuff, you can include that to substantiate your claim. And so that's going to, again, help not only provide them with more details, it's also going to help show that your claim is legitimate, that you have an actual basis for complaining that the services or parts or whatever it is were not what you actually paid for. So this is ultimately, again, the key thing here is this is a rational, reasonable, logical organization to information within a written complaint. And that's very, very important when making a complaint like this, to remain calm and to clearly articulate what the problem is, what you want done, and to provide supporting evidence to prove to prove the reasonableness of your claim.